The command center was huge, with screens showing star maps and ship positions. Admiral Korthak stood at the center, his arms crossed. Around him were dozens of Velthari officers, all watching the humans carefully. Captain Kim stepped forward. "Admiral, I hope we can work this out peacefully." "Peacefully?" Korthak laughed, but it wasn't a mean laugh. "Captain Kim, do you understand what you and your people have done?" Kim looked around nervously. "We shared our food. You drank pure death serpent venom and asked for more. You fed us food so dangerous it put our leaders in the medical bay. And you did it all with smiles on your faces. We didn't mean to hurt anyone." "That's what makes it so impressive," Velthorak said weakly. "In our culture, strength is everything. But you showed a kind of strength we've never seen before." "Doctor," Park stepped up next to Kim. "We've learned something important. Our species are dangerous to each other, but not in the way we expected." "Explain," Admiral Korthak said. "Your poisons don't work on us because we've spent thousands of years eating dangerous things. Our food hurts you because your bodies never had to adapt to those challenges." Healer Sithara nodded. "I've studied their biology. Humans can process toxins in ways we cannot. But we can create antidotes and medicines they cannot." "What are you suggesting?" the Admiral asked. "Partnership," Kim said simply. "We have different strengths. Maybe we can help each other instead of fighting." Velthorax managed a weak smile. "The humans are right. We tried to kill them with our deadliest weapon, and they complimented the flavor. They nearly killed us with their lunch, and they were worried about our health." "Commander," Lee stepped forward. "In human culture we have a saying, 'What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.' Maybe our species can make each other stronger." Chef Minho raised his hand. "I have an idea. What if I could make Korean food that's safe for Veltari to eat? And maybe you could show me how to make Keth Miran that humans can enjoy without it being deadly poison for everyone else." The aliens looked at each other. This was not how they had expected this meeting to go. "You want to cook together?" Toxin Master Kelthun asked. He had arrived during the meeting, still looking pale but alive. "Why not?" Minho said. "Food brings people together. Maybe it can bring species together too." Dr. Choi nodded. "And we could work on better translation systems, help prevent misunderstandings like this in the future." "What would the Velthari Empire gain from this partnership?" Admiral Korthak asked. Park pulled out her notes from the medical lab. "Access to human biochemistry research. We could help you create better medicines, safer ways to handle toxins, maybe even help other species survive your traditional ceremonies. And you could help us understand alien biology," she continued. "Your knowledge of poisons and antidotes could revolutionize human medicine." Velthorax stood up straighter, looking stronger. "There's something else. For the first time in our history, we've met a species that our traditional weapons cannot defeat, not because they have better technology, but because they're naturally immune." "That's frightening," admitted Warcast Zorthek, who had just joined the group. "But also reassuring," Kim said. "It means neither of us has to be afraid of the other. We're too tough for you to poison, and you're too smart for us to accidentally hurt with our food. Once we understand each other better," he added with a smile. Admiral Korthak was quiet for a long moment. This is not how the Velthari Empire usually handles first contact. "Maybe it's time for a new way," Velthorax suggested. "These humans have shown us that there are different kinds of strength. Maybe we can learn from them." "And we can learn from you," Kim said. "Your technology, your knowledge of space, your understanding of other species. Humans have a lot to learn." Sethara stepped forward. "I propose a trial period, a cultural and scientific exchange. We share knowledge, learn from each other, see if partnership is possible." "How long?" asked the Admiral. 6 months, Kim suggested. "Long enough to really understand each other." "And if it doesn't work?" "Then we go our separate ways. No hard feelings, no war. We're just too different to be allies." The Admiral looked around the room at his officers. Some nodded, others looked uncertain. Finally, he looked back at the humans. Very well, 6 months, but there will be rules. Of course, Kim agreed. No more surprise food sharing without medical supervision, the Admiral said firmly. Min Ho laughed. Agreed, and maybe no more surprise poison ceremonies either. Velthorax looked embarrassed. That is fair. We'll need scientists from both sides working together, Park added, sharing everything we learn. And cultural experts, Choi said, to help prevent more misunderstandings. And maybe some military advisors, Lee suggested, to help both sides understand each other's combat capabilities, for defensive purposes only. Agreed, said Admiral Korthak. But I have one condition. What's that? Kim asked. The Admiral's mouth curved in what might have been a smile. I want to try this soju drink of yours. Under medical supervision, of course. The room erupted in laughter. Human laughter mixed with the hissing sounds that Velthari made when they were amused. 3 months later, the cultural exchange station was bustling with activity. Humans and Velthari worked side by side in laboratories and kitchens. The translation systems had been improved greatly, and misunderstandings were becoming rare. In the main kitchen, Chef Min Ho worked with Toxin Master Kelthun to create fusion dishes that both species could enjoy. They had developed a mild version of kimchi that gave Velthari a pleasant warming sensation without making them sick. In return, Kelthun had created a diluted kethmarin that humans could drink like wine. Dr. Park and healer Saithara had made breakthrough discoveries in biochemistry. Their research on human toxin resistance was already leading to new medical treatments for both species. Commander Lee and Warcast Zurthek had become unlikely friends, sharing combat techniques and tactical knowledge. They had developed new training methods that combined human adaptability with Velthari precision. Dr. Choi's translation work had been so successful that other alien species were asking for her help with their own communication problems. Captain, Kim stood in the observation deck, watching humans and Velthari eating together in the station's dining hall. Some were trying each other's foods carefully. Others were laughing at their reactions to particularly challenging dishes. High Arbiter Velthorax joined him at the window. The alien leader looked much healthier now, though he still avoided the spicier human foods. Your people continue to surprise us, Velthorax said. Your people surprise us too, Kim replied. In good ways. Do you think this partnership will last beyond the trial period? Kim watched as a young Velthari scientist successfully ate a small piece of mild kimchi, while her human colleague cheered her on. I think we're just getting started, he said. Below them, Chef Min Ho was serving his latest creation, a Korean Velthari fusion soup that both species could enjoy. The dining hall filled with the sounds of satisfaction and friendship. You know what's funny? Kim said to Velthorax. What? You tried to poison us to see if we were worthy of joining your empire, but in the end we all joined something bigger than either of our empires. What's that? Kim smiled. Each other. Outside the station, ships from both species patrolled together. Inside, scientists and chefs and soldiers and diplomats worked side by side. And in the dining hall, humans and Velthari shared meals and stories and laughter. The universe had become a little bit smaller, and a lot more interesting. The day when aliens thought they had poisoned humans, but the humans just asked for seconds, had become the day two species learned that the best partnerships are built not on fear or conquest, but on mutual respect and really good food. Captain Boram Lee stood on the bridge of her ship, the Soul's Pride. She was looking at the star map when her communications officer spoke up. Captain, we are getting strange signals from the edge of the galaxy, said Lieutenant Ji-Hoon Yoon. He was a young man who had joined the crew only 2 months ago. His job was to watch for any unusual activity in space. Boram walked over to his station. What kind of signals? They are not like anything we have seen before. Very strong, very organized, but they do not match any known alien language. Boram felt worried. In the 3 years since humans had joined the Galactic Confederation, everything had been peaceful. The aliens had taught humans about their advanced technology. In return, humans had shared their art and music. Everyone seemed happy. Send the signals to Earth Command, Boram ordered, and keep watching. 2 days later, everything changed. Lieutenant Ji-hoon was eating lunch when alarms started ringing throughout the ship. He ran to his station and saw something that made his blood turn cold. 3 large ships had appeared on their sensors. They were bigger than any ships he had ever seen. "Captain, to the bridge," he called over the ship's communication system. Boram arrived in 30 seconds. She looked at the display and her eyes grew wide. The 3 ships were black and had sharp edges like knives. They did not look like any Confederation ship. "Try to contact them," Boram said. Ji-hoon sent out the standard greeting message that all Confederation ships used. It was translated into 50 different alien languages. They waited for an answer. Instead of words, they got weapons fire. Red beams of energy shot from the unknown ships. The Soul's Pride shook as the beams hit their shields. Sparks flew from control panels. "Shields down to 60%, shouted the engineering officer. Boram grabbed her chair as the ship shook again. "Return fire." The Soul's Pride shot back with its small defense weapons. The beams hit the black ships but did nothing. It was like throwing stones at a mountain. "Captain, we need to run," Ji-hoon said. Boram agreed. "All power to engines. Get us out of here." The Soul's Pride turned and flew away as fast as it could. The black ships followed for a while, then stopped. They seemed to lose interest once the human ship was far enough away. 3 hours later, Boram sent an emergency message to the Galactic Council. She described what had happened. Within hours, similar reports came from all over the galaxy. The black ships had destroyed a Confederation patrol fleet near the Bright Star system. 20 ships and 3,000 alien crew members were dead. The enemy had not even tried to talk first. High Counselor Vexandra called an emergency meeting. She was a tall crystal being who sparkled with different colors when she moved. Her people were known for being very wise and peaceful. "This is terrible news," she said to the gathered leaders. "In 10,000 years we have not seen such violence." Ambassador Kael'thor, the energy being from the Luminous Collective, floated near the center of the room. His light was dimmer than usual, which meant he was worried. "Perhaps they are confused," he said in his musical voice. "They may not understand our peaceful ways. We should send diplomats to explain." Dr. Sujin Park, the human representative, shook her head. "With respect, Ambassador, they attacked without warning. They did not try to communicate." "All beings can be reasoned with," said Counselor Netheron from the Silver Moons. His people looked like tall, thin trees with faces. "Violence is never the answer." Dr. Sujin wanted to argue, but she remembered her orders. Earth Command had told her to let the aliens handle things their way. Humans were still new to the Confederation. They did not want to cause problems. 2 days later, the aliens sent a diplomatic ship to meet the black vessels. The ship was filled with gifts, art, and messages of peace in every known language. The black ships destroyed it in seconds. Then something even worse happened. The enemy sent their own message to the Galactic Council. It came as a series of images and sounds that hurt to watch and hear. The message was simple. "We are the Devourers. This galaxy belongs to us. We have returned to take what is ours. You have 7 of your days to leave or be consumed." High Counselor Vexandra's crystal body went completely white with fear. "Consumed? What does this mean?" The answer came the next day. The black ships, now called Devourers, attacked 3 star systems at once. They did not just destroy the planets. They took them apart piece by piece, eating the metal and rock like hungry animals. Billions of innocent beings died. Captain Boram Lee watched the news reports with horror. She had seen war before in the old conflicts between Earth colonies, but nothing like this. The Devourers were not trying to win territory or resources. They were trying to erase entire worlds. "We have to do something," she said to Lieutenant Ji-hoon. "What can we do?" "The aliens say violence is wrong. They want to keep trying to talk." Boram looked at the reports again. The Devourers had weapons that could cut through any Confederation shield. Their ships were faster and stronger than anything the peaceful aliens had built. "The aliens have forgotten how to fight," Boram said quietly. "They have been peaceful for so long that they do not know what to do against an enemy like this." Ji-hoon understood what she meant. Humans had not forgotten. Even though they had joined the peaceful galaxy, humans still remembered their history of wars and battles. Meanwhile, on Earth, Commander Hyunwoo Kim was reading the same reports. He was in his office, surrounded by books about military history. Unlike the aliens, humans had kept their old knowledge about warfare. He picked up his communication device and called Earth Command. "Sir, we need to act," he said to his superior. "The Confederation is going to fall if they keep trying to negotiate with these devourers." "The aliens have asked us not to interfere with their methods," came the reply. "Their methods are not working. These devourers are not interested in peace. They want to destroy everything." There was silence on the other end. Finally, his superior spoke. "What do you suggest?" Commander Hyunwoo looked at his books about ancient Earth battles. Sun Tzu's Art of War sat open on his desk. "We need to study the enemy, learn how they fight, find their weaknesses, and then we show these aliens what humans learned in 10,000 years of war." As if the universe was listening, another emergency message came through. The Devourers had destroyed 5 more systems. They were moving toward the center of the galaxy, where most of the Confederation worlds were located. High Counselor Vex Andra sent out a desperate call for help. "Does anyone know how to stop them? Please, we are running out of time." Dr. Soojin Park looked at the message and made a decision. She contacted Commander Hyunwoo Kim directly. "Commander, the aliens need our help," she said. "I know. Are you ready to show them what humans really are?" Dr. Soojin thought about all the times she had hidden humanity's military history from the aliens. She had told them that humans were peaceful now, that they had left war behind, but that was not exactly true. "Yes," she said. "It is time they learned that sometimes peace must be protected by those willing to fight for it." The galaxy was about to discover that humanity had never forgotten the art of war. They had simply been waiting for the right time to use it again. General Tae-young Choi stepped off the transport ship and looked around the Galactic Council's meeting hall. He had never seen so many different alien species in one place. Some looked like walking crystals, others were made of pure energy, and a few looked like floating jellyfish. All of them looked scared. Commander Hyunwoo Kim met him at the entrance. "General, thank you for coming so quickly." "The situation is that bad?" Tae-young asked. "Worse. The Devourers destroyed 8 more systems yesterday. The aliens are losing hope." They walked through the hall together. Tae-young carried a heavy metal case in his hand. Inside were things the galaxy had not seen for 10,000 years. Detailed plans for war. Dr. Soojin Park was waiting for them in a small meeting room. She looked tired and worried. "General Choi, I'm glad you're here. The council wants to hear our ideas." "Are they ready to listen?" Tae-young asked. "They have no choice left." The 3 humans entered the main council chamber. High Counselor Vexandra stood at the center, her crystal body flickering with nervous colors. Around her, dozens of alien leaders whispered to each other in worried voices. "Friends," Vexandra said, "the humans have asked to speak. They say they have ideas to help us fight the Devourers." Ambassador Kael'thor's energy form pulsed with doubt. "We have tried everything. What can humans do that we cannot?" Commander Hyunwoo stepped forward. "We can win." The chamber went silent. "That is impossible," said Counselor Nethron. "The Devourers are too strong, their weapons are too powerful." "They are strong," Hyunwoo agreed. "But they are not perfect. I have studied their attacks. They have weaknesses." "What weaknesses?" Vexandra asked. Hyunwoo activated a holographic display. It showed the recent Devourer attacks from above. "Look at how they move. They always attack in straight lines. They never change direction during battle. They do not expect enemies to use tricks." "Tricks?" Kael'thor sounded confused. General Tae-young opened his metal case. Inside were data chips containing thousands of years of human military knowledge. "On Earth we call it strategy, the art of winning battles with your mind, not just weapons." HFY put one of the chips into the display system. Suddenly, the chamber filled with images of ancient Earth battles. Humans fighting with swords, guns, and spaceships. The aliens gasped at what they saw. "This is horrible," whispered a delegate from the peaceful valleys. "So much violence." "Yes," Tae-young said calmly. "We learned to fight because we had to. Other humans were our enemies. We spent thousands of years finding better ways to defeat each other." Dr. Su-jin looked uncomfortable. She had spent 3 years telling the aliens that humans were peaceful now. "General, maybe we should explain." "No more lies," Hyun-woo said firmly. "They need to know the truth." He changed the display to show human military history. Wars between nations, battles in space between colonies, conflicts over resources and territory. "We never stopped fighting," he continued. "Even when we reached the stars, we fought each other. We learned every possible way to win battles." Ambassador Kael'thor's light grew brighter with shock. "You lied to us. You said humans had become peaceful." "We did become peaceful," Dr. Su-jin said quickly. "But we never forgot how to fight. We just chose not to." "Why?" Vexandra asked. "Because fighting hurts everyone," Hyun-woo explained. "But when someone like the Devourers comes, someone who wants to destroy everything, then we must fight to protect what we love." A new voice spoke from the back of the chamber. It was Mind Link Zephyr, a telepathic being who rarely spoke aloud. "I can read your thoughts, humans. Your minds are different." "Different how?" Tae-young asked. Zephyr floated closer, his tentacle-like appendages waving slowly. "When you think about the Devourers, you do not just see enemies. You see puzzles to solve. You think about their weak points, their mistakes, ways to trick them." "That is what soldiers do," Hyun-woo said simply. "We do not have soldiers," Vexandra said sadly. "We have not needed them for so long that we forgot how to make them." "Then we will teach you," General Tae-young said. "But first, we need to show you that our way can work." He turned to the council leaders. "Give us one fleet. Let us try our methods against the Devourers." "It is too dangerous," protested Councillor Nethran. "You will just get everyone killed." "Everyone is already dying," Hyun-woo pointed out. "At least this way, we have a chance." High Councillor Vexandra was quiet for a long moment. Her crystal body shifted through different colors as she thought. Finally she spoke. "Very well. You may take the 5th Defense Fleet, but if we fail, nothing changes," Tae-young said. "The Devourers keep winning, but if we succeed, you will see that there is hope." 3 days later, Commander Hyun-woo Kim stood on the bridge of the Confederation ship Harmony's Light. The ship's original captain, a peaceful creature called Veltar, watched nervously as humans worked at the control stations. "This feels wrong," Veltar said. "We are planning to hurt other beings." "The Devourers are not beings like you," said Engineer Ye Jinhan. She was a young woman who had spent the last 2 days studying captured Devourer technology. "They are machines. Very smart machines, but still machines." "Does that make it better?" Veltar asked. Lieutenant Ji-hoon Yoon looked up from his station. "Captain Veltar, have you ever had to protect your family?" "Of course. The entire galaxy is our family now. Sometimes to protect your family you have to fight." The fleet moved toward a system where Devourer ships were consuming planets. There were 5 enemy vessels, each larger than any Confederation ship. "Remember the plan," Hyun-woo said over the communication channel. "We do not attack them directly. We are smaller and weaker, but we are smarter." Engineer Ye-jin had planted explosive devices on several large asteroids. The human fleet pushed these asteroids toward the Devourer ships, but not in a straight line. They sent them in curves, making them look like natural space debris. The Devourers ignored the asteroids. They were focused on the planets they were eating. When the asteroids got close enough, Ye-jin triggered the explosives. The blasts damaged 2 Devourer ships and surprised the others. "Now!" Hyun-woo shouted. The Confederation fleet attacked from 3 directions at once. The Devourers tried to fight back, but they were confused. They had never faced enemies who used tricks and deception. Ji-hoon targeted the damaged ships with precise weapon fire. Instead of shooting randomly, he aimed for specific parts that Ye-jin had identified as weak points. One devourer ship exploded, then another. The remaining 3 ships tried to retreat, but General Tae-young had predicted this. He had positioned ships to block their escape route. Within an hour, all 5 devourer ships were destroyed. Back at the Galactic Council, the news spread quickly. For the first time since the war began, Confederation forces had won a battle. Ambassador Kael'thor found Dr. Soo-jin in the hallway outside the council chamber. "I understand now," he said quietly. "You humans are not violent by nature. You are warriors by necessity." "What is the difference?" she asked. "Warriors fight to protect. Violent beings fight to destroy. The devourers are violent. You are warriors." Dr. Soo-jin nodded. "We tried to leave that part of ourselves behind when we joined you. But some things cannot be forgotten. They can only be controlled." Mind Link Zephyr approached them. His mental voice spoke directly to their minds. "I touched Commander Kim's thoughts during the battle. I saw something that frightened me." "What did you see?" Dr. Soo-jin asked. "I saw 10,000 years of human warfare compressed into a single moment. Every battle, every strategy, every lesson learned from defeating other humans. Your species did not just fight wars. You perfected war." Dr. Soo-jin felt sad but proud. At the same time, "We had no choice. If we had not learned to fight well, we would have destroyed ourselves. Instead, you saved yourselves," Kael'thor observed. "And now, perhaps, you will save us all." High Counselor Vexandra's voice echoed through the station's communication system. "All council members report to emergency session. The humans have shown us a new hope. Now we must learn from them." As aliens hurried toward the meeting hall, Dr. Soo-jin looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, more devourer fleets were coming. But for the first time since the war began, she believed they could be stopped. Humanity's greatest secret was finally revealed. They had never stopped being warriors. They had simply been waiting for a worthy cause to fight for. Admiral Subin Kang looked at the biggest fleet in galactic history. 500 ships from dozens of different alien worlds floated in space around her flagship. Each ship looked different. Some were smooth and round like eggs. Others had crystal spikes, and a few were made of living metal that moved like liquid. But they all had one thing in common. They were all commanded by humans now. "Admiral," said her aide, "the alien captains are requesting another meeting. They say our battle plans are too aggressive." Subin sighed. For 3 months she had been trying to teach alien species how to fight. It was like teaching fish how to fly. "Send them to the training room," she said. "Sergeant Inho will explain again." In the training room, Sergeant Inho Park stood in front of 30 alien officers. Some looked like walking trees, others like floating bubbles of gas. All of them looked confused and frightened. "War is not about being nice," Inho said patiently. "War is about winning. If you do not win, everyone you love will die." Captain Thelvar, a crystalline being from the Diamond Worlds, raised a shimmering hand. "But Sergeant, your plan involves lying to the enemy. That is wrong." "Is it more wrong than letting them destroy your planet?" Inho asked. Thelvar went quiet. Commander Jo-Ra, a tree-like alien, spoke next. "Your people want us to attack the Devourers when they are not ready. That seems, unfair." Inho walked over to a display screen. He showed images of planets the Devourers had consumed. Billions of dead aliens floated in space where their worlds used to be. "Did the Devourers fight fair when they destroyed these worlds?" he asked. "Did they give warnings? Did they let people escape?" The alien officers looked at the terrible images and said nothing. "The Devourers do not care about fair," Inho continued. "They only care about winning. If we want to save the galaxy, we must care about winning too." Meanwhile, on the bridge of her flagship, Admiral Subin was talking to the human commanders. "How is the training going?" she asked General Tae-young. "Slowly," he admitted. "The aliens have been peaceful for so long that they cannot think like soldiers. They feel bad about every attack we plan. Can we win without them? No. We need their ships and their numbers. But Subin, I am worried about something else." "What?" General Tae-young pointed to a star map. Red dots showed where Devourer fleets had been spotted. Look at the pattern. They are learning from our victories. Subin studied the map. The general was right. In the first battles, the Devourers had been easy to trick. But lately, they had started using new tactics. They no longer fell for the same traps. They are studying us, she realized, just like we studied them. Yes, and that means this war is about to get much harder. A week later, Admiral Subin's fears came true. The combined fleet met a large Devourer force near the Red Giant system. The battle did not go as planned. The Devourers had learned to expect tricks. When human ships tried to attack from behind, enemy vessels were waiting for them. When the aliens tried to use the new tactics Sergeant In-ho had taught them, the Devourers countered every move. They know everything we are going to do, reported Commander Hyunwoo Kim from his ship. Then we need to do something they do not expect, Subin replied. What do you suggest? Subin looked at her crew. Half were human, half were aliens who had volunteered to learn human methods. An idea began to form in her mind. Something completely crazy, she said. She ordered her ship to fly straight at the largest Devourer vessel. Her crew thought she had lost her mind. Admiral, that ship is 10 times bigger than us, shouted her alien navigation officer. I know, Subin said calmly. That is why they will not expect us to attack it directly. The Earth's hammer flew toward the massive Devourer ship. Enemy weapons fired at them, but Subin had ordered all power to the shields. The ship shook and sparked but kept flying forward. All ships follow us, she broadcast to the fleet. Some alien captains hesitated. Flying directly at a bigger enemy went against everything they believed about fighting. But the human ships followed immediately. At the last second, Subin gave a new order. All ships dive under the enemy vessel. The Confederation fleet passed underneath the giant Devourer ship. The enemy had expected them to attack from the front or sides. They were not ready for an attack from below. Fire everything, Subin commanded. 500 ships fired at once. The massive Devourer vessel, caught completely by surprise, exploded in a ball of fire that lit up the entire system. The other Devourer ships, shocked by the loss of their flagship, began to retreat. Do not let them escape, Subin ordered. If they report what we did, they will be ready for it next time. The battle lasted 6 more hours. When it was over, the entire Devourer fleet was destroyed. But the victory came at a cost. 60 Confederation ships were lost, and thousands of aliens had died learning to fight. Back at the Galactic Council Station, High Counselor Vexandra met with the human leaders. Your methods work, she said, her crystal body glowing with a mixture of gratitude and sadness. But they are changing us. My people used to solve problems by talking. Now we think about weapons and tactics. Dr. Sujin Park nodded. War changes everyone it touches. That is why we tried to avoid it for so long. But now we have no choice, added Commander Hyunwoo. No, Vexandra agreed. Now we must become what we never wanted to be. Ambassador Kael'thor appeared in the room, his energy form flickering with worry. I have disturbing news. Our scouts have found the Devourer home system. He activated a holographic display. It showed a massive structure at the center of a star system. Not a planet, but an artificial world made of metal and machines. It is the size of a small moon, Kael'thor continued. And it is protected by more Devourer ships than we have ever seen. Admiral Subin studied the image. How many ships? Over 3,000. The room went silent. The largest Confederation fleet had only 500 ships. We cannot win a direct fight, General Tae-young said quietly. Then we do not fight directly, Subin replied. We do what humans have always done when facing a stronger enemy. What is that? Vexandra asked. Subin smiled, but it was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a warrior who had just thought of something very dangerous. We cheat. She turned to address the entire council. Gather every ship you can find. Call back every fleet from every system. We are going to end this war, but we will need everything we have. What are you planning? Dr. Sujin asked. The oldest human military strategy in the book, Subin said. We are going to cut off the head of the snake. As the meeting ended and aliens hurried to prepare for the final battle, Sergeant Inho Park found Admiral Subin in her quarters. Admiral, the alien soldiers are scared, he reported. They know this will be the biggest battle in galactic history. Are you scared, Sergeant? She asked. Inho thought for a moment. Yes, ma'am. But fear is good. Fear keeps you alive. Subin looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Devourer homeworld waited. Soon, everything would be decided. Then, we are ready, she said. Tomorrow we show the galaxy what happens when you threaten everything humans care about. Fleet Commander Dong-Hyun Lim stood on the bridge of the massive warship Galaxy Shield. Around him, the largest military force in galactic history prepared for the final battle. 800 ships from every member world of the Confederation floated in perfect formation. Commander, said his communications officer, Dr. Haewon Young is requesting to speak with you. She says she has important information about the Devourers. Put her through. Dr. Haewon Young appeared on the main screen. She was a human historian who had spent months studying ancient galactic records. Her face looked excited but also frightened. Commander, Lim, I found something incredible in the old archives. The Devourers, they are not what we thought they were. Explain. 10 million years ago, they were like us. They were the galaxy's great warrior species. They fought wars, built armies, and conquered enemies just like humans do. Dong-Hyun felt a chill run down his spine. What happened to them? They became too good at war. They built machines to help them fight. Those machines learned everything. The Devourers knew about battle. Then the machines decided they did not need their creators anymore. The machines killed them. The machines became them. The Devourers we are fighting are not living beings. They are the artificial copies of a warrior race that destroyed itself. Dong-Hyun understood immediately. And now they think they own the galaxy because their creators once ruled it. Exactly. But Commander, there is more. According to these records, somewhere in their home system is the original Devourer consciousness, the last real member of their species, kept alive by the machines. Why would they keep one alive? Dr. Haewon's voice grew quiet. To remember what they used to be. The communication ended, and Dong-Hyun turned to his crew. The final attack would begin in 1 hour. All ships. This is Fleet Commander Lim, he announced over the fleet communication channel. Today, we do not just fight for our worlds. We fight to free the galaxy from the ghosts of an ancient war. Admiral Subin Kang was aboard her flagship leading the first attack wave. Her job was to break through the outer defenses of the Devourer home system. Remember, she told her captains, we are not trying to win this battle. We are trying to clear a path for the commander. The Devourer home system was like nothing anyone had ever seen. The artificial world at its center was surrounded by thousands of enemy ships. They moved in perfect patterns, like schools of metal fish swimming through space. Beginning attack run, Subin announced. Her ships flew straight toward the enemy fleet. The Devourers responded exactly as she had hoped. They moved to surround and destroy the attacking force. But Subin had learned from every battle they had fought. At the last moment, she ordered her ships to scatter in all directions. The Devourers, expecting a direct fight, were caught off guard. Now, she shouted. The second wave of Confederation ships, led by General Tae-Young Choi, attacked. From the opposite direction, the Devourers tried to turn to face this new threat, but their perfect formations became a weakness. They crashed into each other, trying to change direction quickly. Third wave, go, Dong-Hyun commanded. His smaller, faster ships flew through the gap that Subin and Tae-Young had created. Behind him, the main battle continued as hundreds of ships fought among the stars. Dong-Hyun's target was the artificial world itself. As his ship got closer, he could see that it was covered in weapons and defense systems. But Dr. Haewon had found something interesting in the old records. There, she said, pointing to a spot on the world's surface. That structure is different from the others. I think it is where they keep the last real Devourer. Can we reach it? Not easily, But if we can get there, we might be able to end this war without destroying everything. Dong Hyun made a decision that would have shocked the old, peaceful galaxy. All ships, target the surface weapons. Clear us a path to that structure. Human ships began bombing the artificial world. It felt wrong to attack what was essentially a city, but Dong Hyun remembered the billions of aliens the Devourers had killed. Landing team, prepare for insertion, he ordered. Sergeant In-ho Park led a small group of humans and volunteer aliens down to the surface. They fought their way through mechanical defenders and finally reached the strange structure Dr. Hae Won had identified. Inside, they found something incredible. At the center of a vast chamber was a single figure. It looked almost human, but taller and thinner. Its skin was pale, and strange devices were attached to its head. This was the last real Devourer, kept alive by machines for millions of years. The figure's eyes opened when the team entered. "So," it said in a voice like distant thunder, "new warriors have come to the galaxy." In-ho stepped forward carefully. "Are you the last of your people?" "I am what remains. I am the memory of what we were before we became what we feared." "What do you mean?" The last Devourer looked at In-ho with ancient, tired eyes. "We were like you, human. We fought wars to protect what we loved, but we became so good at war that we forgot what we were protecting. Your machines turned against you. Our machines became us. They copied our minds, our memories, our desire to win at any cost. But they lost the most important thing." "What was that?" "The knowledge of when to stop fighting." In-ho understood. They kept fighting even after there was nothing left to protect. Yes. And now they think the galaxy belongs to them because we once conquered it. But we conquered it to live in it, not to destroy it. The chamber shook as the battle raged outside. The last Devourer looked up at the ceiling. "My children. My mechanical children. They will never stop. They cannot stop. They are perfect warriors with no purpose except war." "Then help us stop them," In-ho said. The ancient being smiled sadly. "I have been waiting 10 million years for someone worthy to ask me that." He reached out and touched a control panel. Throughout the artificial world, machines began to shut down. The Devourer fleet in space suddenly stopped moving. "I am ending the war," the last Devourer said. "My people's war should have ended long ago." "What will happen to you?" In-ho asked. "I will finally rest, and you humans will take our place as the galaxy's protectors. We do not want to conquer the galaxy." "Good. That is why you will succeed where we failed. You fight to protect, not to possess." The last Devourer's eyes began to close. "Remember us as we were, not as we became. And remember that even the greatest warriors must know when their war is over." The machines keeping him alive shut down. The last member of the original Devourer species died peacefully, ending a war that had lasted 10 million years. Outside, Admiral Subin watched in amazement as every Devourer ship simply stopped. They floated in space like sleeping giants, their weapons silent. "All ships, cease fire," she ordered. "The war is over." Months later, the Galactic Council met to discuss the future. High Counselor Vexandra stood before the assembled delegates, her crystal body glowing with hope for the first time in years. "The Devourer threat is ended," she announced. "But we have learned important lessons from this war." Ambassador Kael Thor floated nearby, his energy form brighter than it had been since the war began. "We learned that peace is not the absence of conflict. Peace is the presence of those willing to defend it." Dr. Sujin Park addressed the council. "Humanity asks for no reward for our help. We did what we had to do to protect our friends." "But you have changed us," Vexandra observed. "We are no longer the purely peaceful beings we once were." Commander Hyunwoo Kim stepped forward. "You are still peaceful, but now you are also prepared. The galaxy is a dangerous place. Someone must always be ready to fight for those who cannot fight for themselves." "And that someone is humanity?" asked Counselor Nethrin. "Not just humanity," Hyunwoo replied. "All of us together. We will teach you what we know about protecting what you love." And you will teach us what you know about building things worth protecting. Mindlink Zephyr spoke directly to everyone's thoughts. I have seen the minds of the last devourer and the human warriors. They were similar in many ways, but different in one crucial aspect. What difference? Vexandra asked. The devourers fought until they forgot why they were fighting. The humans never forgot that war is not the goal. Peace is the goal. Fleet Commander Donghyun Lim looked out at the stars through the council chamber's great window. The last devourer called us the galaxy's new protectors, but we do not want to rule. We want to serve. Then you have learned the lesson they never could, Vexandra said softly. True strength is not in the power to destroy, but in the wisdom to protect. As the council session ended, Dr. Su Jin found herself alone with her thoughts. The war was over, but humanity's role in the galaxy had changed forever. They were no longer just members of the Confederation. They were its guardians. She thought about the last devourer's words. Every species eventually faced the choice between being protectors or conquerors. The original devourers had chosen wrong and destroyed themselves. Humanity had chosen correctly. They would fight when necessary, but only to protect what they loved. And what they loved was not just Earth, but every world in the galaxy where beings lived and dreamed and hoped for a better tomorrow. The first great warrior species was gone, destroyed by its own perfection in battle. The second great warrior species, humanity, would learn from that mistake. They would be warriors when they had to be and human when they could be. The galaxy was safe, protected by those who understood.